when we look at the level of benefits that people are taking from their schemes, it is still very small.
Washikadau katika mifumo ya malipo ya uzeeni humu nchini sasa wanalenga kuboresha mifumo hiyo zaidi na kuifanya kuvutia vizazi vipya vya Gen Z. Akizungumza katika kongamano la 15 la Zamara jijini Mombasa, afisa mkuu mtendaji wa Zamara Sandeep Raichura amesisitiza umuhimu wa kukumbatia teknolojia na mifumo ya kisasa ili kuboresha malipo ya uzeeni.
We have more than 200 delegates, leading experts, thought leaders and professionals in the pensions industry talking about issues important and topical for our industry. We are living in a time of unprecedented change. There's a lot of change that's happening and transformation economically, politically, socially and even technologically. We believe that with these changes there are significant implications for pension schemes. We need to ask ourselves the questions about how do we make sure that our pension systems will remain relevant for the future? How will they remain resilient for the future? How can we make our pension systems more inclusive?
Raichura amepongeza udhabiti wa miundombinu ya pensheni humu nchini na kusisitiza upanuaji zaidi wa kuweka akiba ili kufanya mfumo huo kuwa wa kuvutia kwa vizazi vichanga.
And I believe that the pensions infrastructure that we have in Kenya is solid. If we can accommodate wider savings priorities through our pension system, this would be a good step. It would make our pension system more appealing to the younger generation, to people who are looking for something different. When it comes to the Gen Zs, they do not want a rigid, when it comes to pensions, they are not looking at a rigid pension scheme which says, you join, you stay for life, you contribute for the next 30 years and yes, we'll give you something in your retirement. They are talking about instant gratification. What can they get now? And therefore, one of the things that we are looking at as Zamara is how do we make our pension systems more relevant to the needs of the newer generation. So, can we help them save for their short-term priorities? Could we help them to save for housing? Could we help them to save for their other needs, their education and the like?
Hata hivyo amefichua mbinu ya kuwawezesha watu kujikimu zaidi baada ya kustaafu, akibaini kuwa wengi wao humaliza malipo yao ya uzeeni ndani ya miaka mitatu ya kustaafu.
So what happens in Kenya is that a lot of these pension schemes, retirement schemes are still provident funds. So what they do is when people retire, the benefit is paid as a lump sum. Okay, so the entire amount is paid as a lump sum. And people who are not used to having that sort of money in their hands just at one go, people who are used to having a regular income in their lives, getting so much money at one go, the tendency is to squander it or not properly apply it. So our research shows that people who retire, unless they are guided on the type of benefit they should take, there is a big risk of the money not lasting them long. And our research shows that it is depleted within 3 years. Okay. Now, what are some of the things that Zamara are doing? So first and foremost, we are motivating to the government that, look, we need to reduce the extent of provident funds in our country. More of the benefit should be paid in the form of a regular income in retirement.
Saving is as important as eating. We cannot afford to stay away from eating. So for as long as we need to survive, we need to save so that we can be able to survive tomorrow. So policy must make it possible for people to save.
Aidha ameonyesha imani kwa serikali kushirikiana na sekta hii kuwawezesha Wakenya zaidi kufahamu muhimu wa kuweka akiba.
If we are to grow at a much faster rate as a country, we need to have a much bigger savings pool. One of the best ways of mobilizing those savings is through pension savings. So we are hoping that the government and all stakeholders can engage on how we can increase the savings rate in pensions and how we can use the pension sector to better mobilize those savings. So yes, tax incentives is one thing. How do we make a minimum level of pension contribution compulsory? How do we get the informal sector to participate in pension arrangements? Those are some of the conversations and policies that we need to think about.
Currently we are talking about 26% of the total workforce in this country contributing to pension arrangements. We still have an opportunity out there, mainly in the informal sector. And what we need to do is to make sure that we continue to educate and really be able to reach out to those in the informal sector ensure that the incentives that come in for people to save more towards retirement are actually implemented. One of the things that came out in the finance bill that was stood down was actually the aspect of increasing contribution, as it has been said. It's an area that we worked on for a long time, and we are happy that at least government has seen it fit that there is need to encourage more contribution going the pension scheme.
Nikiripotia runinga ya Al Shifa kutoka hapa mjini Mombasa, mimi ni Titus Toya.